Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. I'm Patrick Langhans with Cross Country Mortgage. If you've been wondering whether mortgage rates are finally going to come down, this week's news gave us some of the biggest clues we've had all year, so stick with me for a quick 4-minute market update. The Federal Reserve just released its latest outlook and surprised some investors with a more aggressive stance on inflation and interest rates. At the same time, the Iran peace agreement sent oil prices lower and changed the inflation conversation almost overnight. So these two stories are pulling mortgage rates in opposite directions, and understanding what's happening could help you better advise your buyers and sellers headed into the next few weeks. So today we're going to break down exactly what the Fed said, why the Iran peace deal matters, the housing market, mortgage rates, what to look out for next week. But before we get into that, I have a few quick announcements. First, the Realtor Playbook mastermind continues to grow, and I want to personally invite you to join us. If you're a realtor who wants to close more deals, build wealth, learn more about investing, improve your systems, increase profitability, and ultimately create a better life for yourself, come join us. There's a link to sign up in the comments. Second, don't forget about our special event with Patrick Conway on July 24th at the Maven Hotel in Denver. He's one of the top real estate coaches in the country, top producing agent in the country. He's going to teach us how to build a predictable referral-based business so you don't have to chase cold leads. We're down about 20 spots, so if you've been thinking about it, sign up now before we run out. Again, a link in the comments. So let's jump into that market update. The biggest story this week was the Federal Reserve meeting. As expected, the Fed left short-term interest rates unchanged, but the real story wasn't what they did, it was what they said. At the beginning of the year, the market was expecting multiple rate cuts, but today those expectations have been pushed further out as inflation has remained stubborn and the economy continues to show resilience. The Fed's message was clear. They're not in a hurry to cut rates. Now remember, mortgage rates don't directly follow the Fed funds rate. Mortgage rates are primarily driven by inflation expectations and the bond market. And that's where our second major story comes into play. This week, progress toward a peace agreement involving Iran helped ease concerns about potential disruptions to global oil supplies. Oil prices move lower as tensions cooled. Why does that matter to housing? Well, energy prices affect almost everything in the economy. Lower oil prices can also reduce transportation costs, production costs, inflation, and overall economy improves. When inflation expectations improve, mortgage rates often benefit. So right now we have two competing forces that are holding rates in a narrow range. On one side we have Federal Reserve. They're signaling higher rates for longer. On the other side, we have lower oil prices, easing political tensions, which could help reduce inflation in the coming months. So the market's trying to determine which story is going to win. Will inflation remain sticky and force rates to stay high, or will inflation continue cooling and eventually allow rates to move lower? So let's talk about what to watch out for next week. First, weekly jobless claims. Remember, stronger job market can push rates up. We have existing and new home sales, which will give us a clue on buyer demand in the housing market. And we have core PCE, which is the Fed's favorite measurement of inflation. So we'll see if inflation is coming up or coming down. Before I let you go, a couple final reminders. I'm on call this week and I'm ready to knock out a fast pre-approval update of payment scenario. Call a listing agent, help you get your clients under contract. And lastly, I love tough loans. So if another lender says no, if a deal is falling apart, I love the opportunity to help you save it. Have an amazing weekend and I'll see you next week.